Fun fact for you. Before the crowbar was invented, crows simply drank at home. Today I'm going to recap a 2005 crime thriller film called Lord of War. The movie starts in 1980. Yuri Orlov, the protagonist, is the eldest child in a family of Ukrainian refugees. To escape the Soviet Union during the 1970s, they posed as Jewish. In the U.S., Yuri shares his home with a younger sibling, Vitaly. Their father has come to genuinely embrace the Jewish faith. One day, as Yuri visits a family friend's eatery to greet him, two gunmen enter alongside. They start firing but are killed by the eatery's owner, a Russian mafia member. This incident sparks Yuri's realization. The perpetual demand for weapons is like the consistent demand for sustenance. This epiphany makes him understand the wealth potential in arms dealing. Soon after, an acquaintance who is a Jewish arms dealer gives Yuri his initial weapon for selling. It's Yuri's inaugural transaction of this kind. Navigating this unfamiliar territory, Yuri likens it to a first-time intimate encounter. His initial deal occurs in a hotel where he successfully sells an Uzi to two criminals, showcasing his persuasive skills. Ambitious, Yuri aims higher. He persuades his brother Vitaly to join him, even though Vitaly, unlike Yuri, has little ambition, struggles with alcohol, and initially hesitates. At an arms trade fair, Yuri tries to approach Simeon Weisz, a top-tier arms dealer, with a business offer. But Weisz declines, seeing Yuri as a rookie. Thus, Yuri and Vitaly resort to conventional gun sales. This status quo shifts when Yuri leverages the Lebanon conflict to boost his earnings. He realizes that repatriating arms is costlier than buying afresh. Using weapons left post-UN retreat, he sells arms by weight, facilitated by bribing an underpaid lieutenant colonel. He trades arms to both Israeli and Lebanese factions, unmindful of the weapon's use in heinous acts. After offloading a massive quantity of AK-47s, the brothers witness the devastating impact of their sales on the Lebanese populace, while Vitaly is deeply shaken. Yuri advises him to look away, and they depart. Later, Yuri mentions selling arms produced in Israel to Muslims and those made by communists to fascists. Back in the U.S., we learn that Yuri maintains separate identities depending on which region he is in. In an upcoming scene, as Yuri is ferrying arms aboard a vessel, an informant warns him of the Coast Guard's plan to inspect his ship. Swiftly, Yuri instructs his crew to rechristen the ship Kono and replace its flag. Vitaly inadvertently sets up a French flag vertically, inadvertently creating a Dutch flag. With the vessel now appearing Dutch, they expect no complications. However, Yuri's operations catch the attention of Jack Valentine, a principled Interpol officer whose integrity makes him unbraggable. Ingeniously, Yuri hides the weapons beneath a layer of week-old potatoes, effectively deterring any thorough search. Subsequently, Yuri finalizes a deal with a Colombian kingpin, where he's compensated with cocaine instead of cash. He initially declines the drug payment, but after a heated altercation that leaves him shot in the abdomen, they reluctantly accept. Celebrating their recent acquisition, Yuri and Vitaly indulge in the cocaine. Tragically, it soon emerges that Vitaly is ensnared in addiction. A panicked Yuri spends nearly 2 weeks locating his sibling, finally discovering him in a motel room, tracing the Ukrainian border with lines of cocaine. Determinedly, Yuri eradicates the drugs and takes Vitaly home, eventually admitting him to a rehab center. Their farewell is marked by Yuri allowing one final hit. Consequently, Yuri continues his operation solo, reminiscent of his childhood days. During a drive, it's revealed that Yuri harbors feelings for the model Ava Fontaine. Orchestrating a grand gesture, Yuri reserves an entire upscale hotel, contriving a photoshoot to ensure he and Ava are the sole guests. Their initial conversation reveals Ava's predicament of being stranded until a later flight. Seizing the moment, Yuri offers her a lift on his private jet, having rented the aircraft, luxury attire, and even having the plane emblazoned with his family name to create an illusion of opulence. Their intimate conversation leads to a passionate embrace, and they eventually wed, welcoming a child. Fast forward to 1991, the Cold War ceases. An elated Yuri anticipates the business opportunities with the end of the Soviet era. So engrossed he misses his son's inaugural steps, leaving Ava dismayed. Later, a sloshed Vitaly barges in with a companion, whom Yuri compensates and dismisses, before sending Vitaly to rehab. Capitalizing on recent geopolitical shifts, Yuri visits Ukraine and his uncle General Dmitry. With the Cold War's cessation, Ukraine is laden with unused weaponry. Yuri eyes a potential gold mine, but his uncle's hesitancy stems from accountability concerns to his superiors regarding the armament. Yuri asserts that since Moscow, located in Russia, is now a foreign land, and with no one leading Ukraine, nobody is concerned about their weapon stockpile or the need for reporting. Subsequently, his uncle showcases a warehouse teeming with AK-47s, mentioning a total of 40,000 Kalashnikovs. Yuri, however, suggests adjusting the number to 10,000, believing it would go unnoticed. This becomes the most significant acquisition of weaponry in Yuri's career, complete with tanks and helicopters. Concurrently, Simeon, Yuri's longtime competitor, had intentions of securing a similar deal, but was tardy. Offering Yuri a partnership over dinner, Yuri's pride leads him to decline. As Yuri gears up to ship out the amassed weapons, including a combat helicopter, he is confronted once again by Agent Valentine. Dmitry perceives Yuri's ambition as excessive, especially since transporting military helicopters is illicit. Demonstrating his knack for quick thinking, Yuri instructs a laborer to strip the helicopter of its combat capabilities, rebranding it as a rescue vehicle. When Valentine and his men confront Yuri, he coolly clarifies that every item adheres to European commercial regulations. Though Yuri's activities are suspicious, they aren't technically illegal. Unable to find evidence of wrongdoing, Valentine is left stymied. Later developments reveal Yuri's competitors attempting to offer his uncle larger deals, but loyal to Yuri, the general turns them down. In a treacherous move, Simeon plants a bomb in a car gifted to the general by Yuri. The explosion claims the general's life, but the massive arms deal goes through, marking it as the 20th century's most substantial illicit arms transaction. Yuri then turns his sights to Africa, the continent's largest weapons market. There he encounters Andrei Baptist, the tyrannical leader of Monrovia engaged in Liberia's brutal conflict. Baptiste's son, Andrei Jr., insists Yuri meets his father. When Yuri is hesitant, Jr. makes it clear he has little choice. While discussing weaponry with Baptiste, Yuri witnesses the dictator murder a subordinate for insolence. Infuriated, Yuri berates Baptiste for discharging a gun he's yet to purchase, thus reducing its value. Threatened momentarily by Baptiste's men, the tension dissipates when Baptiste extends a hand in partnership. Andrei Jr. later escorts Yuri to a modest hotel, presenting two women as gifts from his father. Aware of the high likelihood they might be HIV positive, Yuri sends them away. The following day's negotiations with Baptiste revolve around payment. Unable to pay in cash, Baptiste offers timber or diamonds. Opting for the latter, Yuri seals another deal with the precious gemstones. Moreover, Yuri is aware of Baptiste's plans to escalate the war efforts. He suggests postponing the assault by a week and provides Baptiste with his armored vehicle sourced from Ukraine, assuring significantly fewer fatalities. Appreciating the advice, Baptiste agrees with a grin. Fast forward a few years, Yuri's wealth has surged immensely. He had previously kept Ava in the dark about his affluence, but now there's no need. As Ava delves into art, Yuri secretly purchases her artwork to keep her spirits high. In subsequent developments, Vitaly, having recovered from rehab, appears to harbor jealousy towards Yuri's luxurious life. When he questions if Ava is privy to Yuri's questionable profession, Yuri emphasizes she must remain oblivious. As the narrative unfolds, it reveals the inherent complexities of the arms trade. Challenges emerge, like shipping arms to nations on the brink of peace treaties. Reacting promptly is essential. While in transit in his limousine, Yuri detects an FBI helicopter in pursuit. Swiftly disembarking, he switches to a cab, racing to his shipment container. During this, Ava informs him of agents rummaging through their refuse, seeking reassurance. Yuri pacifies her concerns, professing his love. In a twist, Valentine stumbles upon shredded negotiation papers and manages to piece them together, uncovering one of Yuri's impending deals. As of now, Yuri stands unparalleled in the arms trade, possessing not just a private jet, but a fleet designated for arms transport. Yet, Valentine remains relentless in his pursuit. When one of Yuri's planes is ambushed, he instructs a secluded landing to conceal the illicit cargo. Making a desperate move, he bestows the entire stock to the local populace as complimentary samples, leaving no trace for incrimination. But when confronted by a local officer intent on ending his life, Valentine intervenes. Yet again, Valentine is handcuffed by the lack of concrete evidence against Yuri. However, he detains him for a day, primarily to disrupt his lethal dealings. Upon his release, Yuri returns to his motel, startled to find Baptiste, Andre Jr., and a restrained Simeon. Baptiste proposes eliminating Simeon, Yuri's competitor, and the orchestrator of his uncle's death. While Yuri is averse to Simeon's murder, he's equally unwilling to set him free. In a twisted game, Baptiste hands Yuri a gun, granting him the power to intervene. Yuri refrains, leading Baptiste to execute Simeon. Later, Yuri indulges in a potent African concoction, cocaine infused with gunpowder. Plunged into a state of hallucination and paranoia, he narrowly escapes death when an assailant's firearm jams. In a subsequent turn of events, Valentine confronts Ava, unveiling Yuri's true identity, urging her to betray him. Regardless, Ava stands her ground, sending Valentine away. Upon Yuri's return home, Ava confronts him, expressing her revulsion towards their lifestyle. She no longer desires the luxury, the house, the car, or the jewels, seeing them as tainted with blood. Yuri confesses to being an arms merchant, and despite Ava's pleadings for him to leave the trade citing their wealth, Yuri claims it's not about riches, but rather it's the only skill he excels in. Consequently, Ava forces a choice, her or his illicit trade. Yuri, desiring to appease Ava, exits the arms world, opting for the timber and real estate businesses. Valentine, still suspicious, monitors Yuri's communications, finding them perplexing. Before long, the meager profits and challenges of legitimate business frustrate Yuri. Subsequently, Baptiste, alongside his son, travels to the U.S. aiming for peace discussions with the UN. But before that, he approaches Yuri seeking a new arms deal. Initially hesitant, Yuri is swayed by an irresistible offer, leading him back into the underworld. Before departing, he informs Ava of a business trip, and she, doubting his truthfulness, tails him. She gains access to Yuri's storage unit, using their son's birthday as a code, and discovers falsified passports, her artwork, and an arsenal. Horrified, she flees with their son. Before heading to Liberia, Yuri seeks out Vitaly, desiring the company of someone trustworthy. In Africa, Baptiste insists that the arms delivery to his allies in western Sierra Leone precedes any payment. Post-delivery, while inspecting the diamonds, Vitaly witnesses a woman being assaulted. Realizing the arms they provide will be used against innocent villagers, he pleads with Yuri to abandon the transaction. Yuri remains unyielding, stating it's beyond their concern and emphasizing their peril if they breach the deal. Seemingly in agreement, Vitaly instructs Yuri to finalize the deal. But overwhelmed by remorse, he attacks Andre Jr. and obliterates a weapons-laden truck using a grenade. His attempt to detonate another gets him mercilessly killed by soldiers. Baptiste spares Yuri due to their rapport, but hands over only half the promised diamonds. Grief-stricken at losing his brother and being entangled in a despised profession, Yuri is shattered. Subsequently, Yuri bribes a local medic with $20 to extract bullets from Vitaly's corpse and fabricate a death certificate. Yet the physician overlooks a bullet lodged beneath Vitaly's rib, which leads to Yuri's arrest when discovered by officials. As the film nears its conclusion, Yuri attempts to reconnect with Ava, but she definitively severs ties with him. Reaching out to his parents, his mother bleakly tells him that both her sons are now deceased. In subsequent scenes, Valentine interrogates Yuri, disclosing that it was Ava's inadvertent actions that led them to the container's location. With the clock ticking, Yuri suggests Valentine use the limited time wisely and speak his mind. Valentine emphasizes Yuri's grave predicament, foretelling a decade-long legal battle before his inevitable incarceration. Yet Yuri, fully cognizant of his bleak circumstances, estrangement from his family, his wife and child's departure, and his brother's death, maintains an eerie composure. He prophesies that soon, a superior official will commend Valentine's efforts, but will then instruct Valentine to release Yuri. Despite Yuri's blatant illegality, his operations are clandestinely sanctioned by the U.S. government. The bulk of Yuri's arms find their way to American allies, and since the U.S. can't directly supply them, they rely on intermediaries like Yuri. Not long after this revelation, Valentine is interrupted by a knock, realizing the truth in Yuri's words. By the film's close, Yuri reverts to his most adept role, the world of arms dealing. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.